You're curious whether Fischer ever played online. I think there was a theory that Fischer played on that random account with F3 F6 every game, and it was debunked, I think, on a ChessBase article many years later. I'm guessing that Fischer probably did play online, though. At some point he probably played. I doubt he really like played seriously or a lot, but I bet he did play at some point online. I'd just be very shocked if he didn't, but he probably never played much, and it was probably very limited. I'm looking at the Nigel Short image saying it didn't play him. Well, there was a ChessBase article. Like I said, I'll pull it up for you guys very briefly. There was an article on ChessBase, and it's basically about the whole thing. It says like the third coming of Bobby Fischer. I'll stop the music. I'll just go through it very briefly while we're at it, because the game is a little bit slow. And it says, like, you know, the story captured headlines 20 years ago. Many people believe that Bobby Fischer has returned to chess and was performing miracles on the internet. Nigel Short said he was 99% sure he has played Fischer. Author Tim Krabbe, who was initially skeptical, went on to see the light. In September 2001, we took a closer look at the evidence, and yeah, they have a long article. And yeah, it says the story was that Bobby Fischer sometimes logged onto the Internet Chess Club ICC as a guest and played an incredible series of blitz games against random opponents. He would play a series of very fast blitz games, bullet chess, using preposterous openings but whipping the living daylights out of his opponents. Now, first problem with this is that it says bullet chess, which is 1 minute, not blitz. Now, I'm going to say this: if I can play good bullet chess in like 20 years when I'm 50, like I mean, I am actually gonna have the biggest ego in the world, because I don't think it's physically possible at the age of 50 to play like that. I just don't think it's possible to play like even more. Yeah, I don't think it's possible to play bullet at a really high level at 50 years old. Like, I already can feel like I'm still very good, but I can already feel that I'm definitely worse than I was like 3-4 years ago, and it's very noticeable to me. Like, just knowing the way that I play, like I can sense it. So if I feel like at 34 I'm significantly worse than I was at like 30, and it's only gonna get worse. Like, I know Fischer is maybe the greatest player ever, but at 50, if he can play bullet at that level, like, wow, just wow. Okay, so it says they were sworn to secrecy, so the games were seldom published. Only the stories of the apparition of a bone-chilling encounter with the ephemeral chess legend remained. All this remained a chess club story until Nigel Short went public with his encounter with the mysterious ICC Fischer in the Telegraph in September 2001. He revealed that he had played nearly 50 speed chess games against the ICC Fischer during that year. I am 99% sure that I've been playing against a chess legend. It's tremendously exciting, he said. In October the previous year, in the first of their 4 confrontations, Nigel had lost 0-8, although he is one of the world's best speed chess players. Okay, in my opinion, Fischer is a much stronger speed chess player than Kasparov, which is incredible when one considers that at 58 he's virtually a geriatric in terms of the modern game, Nigel said. So not even 50, but 58 years old. If this was bullet, or blitz rather, I could maybe see it, but in bullet, I just don't buy it. Acevedo, Siegen, 1970. For Nigel, the final proof came when he tested his mysterious opponent with the following question: do you know Armando Acevedo? The response was immediate: Siegen, 1970. Fischer had played Acevedo, an obscure Mexican player, in the Siegen Chess Olympiad of 1970. At the time, let me mute this for a second. At the time, I took a look at this piece of evidence. With ChessBase or Fritz loaded, I simply pressed Ctrl F and typed in Acevedo Fischer. 5 seconds later, I had the one game played between Acevedo and Fischer. The tournament is given as Siegen Olympiad 1970. If I had been scamming Nigel, I would have added it was an A49 anti-King's Indian system with 1 d4 knight f6, 2 knight f3 g6, or something to that effect. As an experienced user, it would take me about 10 to 15 seconds to prepare the message. The ICC Fischer usually started his games with some really crazy moves like f3, d5, c3, knight f6, king f2, e5, king e3, or e4, c5, king e2, knight c6, king e3. What? Wait, what? Wait, what? He played the Bond Cloud? I actually, wait, e4, c5, king e2. Okay, that's, I was not aware of that. Okay, so apparently the original, yes, if only the story was true, if only this was Bobby Fischer, that would make this legend, wait for it, dairy. Unfortunately, as we know, this is not going to turn out to be true. And he kept winning, and obviously this pointed to 2 things. The ICC Fischer wants to avoid the main lines of modern chess theory. Secondly, it was assumed that the legendary Fischer was the only player with the godlike abilities to pull this off. Since his historic match against Boris Spassky in 1972, Fischer had only played 30 public games in the 1992 rematch in Soveti and Belgrade. Were we to believe that this man, now 58 years old, could suddenly resurface and beat the strongest GMs in the world in lightning blitz games after giving them a tremendous advantage in the opening? No, not beat them, tear them to pieces, wipe the floor with them. Okay, But what was the alternative? Who else could be doing this? There was an obvious answer. Only a computer would be able to do what the mysterious ICC Fischer had done on the internet. In fact, it was exactly what you would expect from a fast tactical program, and we could easily try it out. We asked our readers to load Fritz, Junior, Shredder, or Tiger, the best programs at the time, force the first moves of the ICC Fischer played, and then play on against the program at 3-minute time controls. Personally, it was clear to me that Nigel and the rest of the strong chess players were getting mauled by a very fast computer and a very proficient computer operator, not by a 58-year-old non-playing GM. As to the question of why on earth anyone would perpetrate such an elaborate hoax, I had a pat answer. Because it is fun. The exact same reason that it's fun to snipe people when you're playing blitz games online. Exact same reason. It's because it's fun. You get to do something, you get a rise out of someone, ruin their day. It's fun. Can you imagine anything more entertaining than whipping Nigel Short, convincing him that he's getting licked by a ghost, and then having him publish it all in the Telegraph? Wow, okay. Good language. I love this. Is it him or isn't it him? Not everyone agreed with me. Author and columnist Tim Krabbe originally thought the IC player was not Fischer. Playing over these games, you get the impression that the mysterious guest is a fantastically strong player, he wrote in his chess diary. Then Tim had a change of heart. I take back everything I said and claimed the opposite. He had found convincing evidence that the ICC player was not a computer. The evidence turned up in a series of 25 3-minute blitz games that a guest had played against French IM Robert Fontaine, who had an ICC rating of 28-27 and a FIDE rating of 24-52. The guest always played absurd openings, won 20 games, lost 3, and drew 2 games. For Tim, the most interesting game was the following. It was a Bond Cloud. Look at this, a classic Bond Cloud. I had no idea. Okay. So you go back to E1. Okay. And eventually, I'm guessing... Okay, this game... Looks like Fontaine was playing this game really well. Sacrifices. Probably should have won this game. But... Oh, wow. And there's a checkmate here. Oh my gosh, look at this technique, just like a perfect like mate in 7, executed perfectly. Great win by Bobby Fischer at 58 years old, right? Great win. Anyway, we see, so what did we have to say to the above? Well, a quick check with all top engines did reveal that they will play 28 queen takes b5, but if the operator is running in multiple variation mode, he might have well seen the text move come up as the second or third best line. In this example, on a 666 megahertz computer, we could see that Deep Fritz saw at least 2 ways to draw the position. If you selected the second line and then started entering the black moves as played by Bieber Fontaine, Fritz duplicated every single move after that all the way to the final mate. So all these moves are straightforward. Okay, this is pretty dank. Tim has one more argument. In the database, the time used for each move were recorded, and you could see that the guest never took more than 3 seconds for any move in the game. But 28 bishop takes c4 cost him 12 seconds. Wow. Okay, here comes the metadata. Interesting. We concluded that he was probably using Deep Fritz in multi-variation mode and paused to think about the options available on move 28. He may have even played through a few moves and decided that there were greater pitfalls after 28 bishop takes c4, or he may have simply run through the first line to see the full draw with queen takes b5, etc., before deciding to go for the other drawing line. Finally, it is entirely possible that the ICC Fischer was running multiple engines, choosing the move he thinks is most promising. So what do we conclude? It could be that Bobby Fischer had descended unto us to play miraculous games of chess, but Occam's razor forced at least the author to believe that ICC Fischer was a prankster using a fast computer and one or more of the top programs to create an urban legend that would stay alive in chess circles for a long time to come. Obviously, here in 2022, someone brought it up earlier during our stream. Okay, so they have games of the ICC Fischer. Here are some of the games by Fischer on the ICC in 2001. The first 24 against Bieber, Robert Fontaine. The second against Ural, who's I am Alexander Reprincev. FIDE rating 24-28. The games are at least very funny and enjoyable. In one of the games, the fake Fischer plays King E8, F7, E6, D6, C7 in the first 6 moves and still manages to beat the 24-28 IM. All right. So here's the addendum. In 2002, I was able to trace the fake Fischer when he became very active on PlayChess. It was a Canadian sysop of Asian descent who was an extremely adept computer user. When confronted, he confessed he was Fischer in ICC and PlayChess. In 2006 and 2007, I had a number of long telephone conversations with Bobby Fischer in his refuge in Iceland. I asked him whether he'd played on the internet, specifically the games against Short and Reprincev. He had no idea what I was talking about, so it became 100% clear it was not Bobby who had tantalized the masters on the internet. There is one more little story I cannot resist telling. During the controversy around Nigel, I called him. He was in Argentina at the time, and when he recognized my voice on the phone, he said sarcastically, "Is that you, Bobby?" My reply, "Do you know what is happening? Switch on your TV, Nigel." This he did after I persuaded him it was urgent, and I heard him exclaim, "Holy blank blank blank, oh." This somehow talks about 9/11. Okay, I was not expecting the dark turn, but anyway, I was not expecting a dark turn around 9/11. As we see though from the article, it was not Bobby Fischer. It was just a very adept computer user who was able to do this. Yeah, I was expecting this to end on like a nice note, and then it's like you're talking about 9/11 out of nowhere. So that was an article. I just thought I would cover it. Let's get back to the chess.